We are back with another episode of Victim to Victor podcast, where we are more than just a podcast, but we're here raising awareness against sexual abuse. I am your host, Sherie M. Davis, and as y'all can see, my partner in crime is not with me today, but that's okay because I got a special guest in the house with me today. I'm so honored to have her on, sharing her testimony. My dear sweet first cousin, Shehora Fleming-Morris. Today we're going to be talking about how sexual abuse affected her, and she has the most powerful testimony. And so I know when my co-host comes back, she's going to have some good news for the viewers. She's working on some things, and so I miss her presence, but she is definitely not forgotten. She'll grace us again with her presence. So we're gonna just jump right into it because we usually have a nice little powwow segment. Yes. We have a powwow segment, me and my partner in crime, but she had some other things that she had to attend to, so it was just me and you. This is nothing new to us. It's nothing new, right?
Nothing at all.
And so I got to kind of treat you like my co-host now. And so before I get into asking you questions, I'm about to throw you a curveball. I just kind of want to, just kind of talk about like your perspective around the silence of sexual abuse. Like what are your thoughts? Like, I know people too who have suffered. And then when you get into telling us more about yourself and the job, but like, what are your thoughts with the silence when someone is victimized and they hold it in? I don't know. I just got to have a righteous indignation about it.
When they are holding it in silence, they're hurting.
Yeah.
They're angry. You'll be surprised. That's where a lot of crime happens.
Man.
A lot of mothers or fathers doing things to their child. Mm-hmm. If it's murder, if it's beating, if it's something, it's, you don't know the background and the trauma. They don't know how to talk about it. So instead of them, talking about things, they react.
It's so powerful you said that, and let me tell you why. The initial episode 2 we had to take down because we had some unexpected privacy concerns. That was one thing she said in her interview, because I still have that interview just because I enjoyed the conversation. She told her story very well. But she said the same thing. She said, I question school shooters and robbers and burglars. She said, I question them. I question what they've experienced in life. You know what I mean? And so for you to say that, I'm like, that's a real fact.
Yeah.
That's a real fact. Yeah. And, of course, they don't have the words to say it. So it's like, I'm going to express it through it's like they're expressing their rage. Would you say that?
They are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, that's so deep.
They find their own way of expressing.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. Some don't know how to talk about it.
Yeah.
Or some are embarrassed.
Yeah.
To talk about it.
And do you think that I'm not going to say them, I'm going to say Black people, because we shy away from therapy. Do you think, that's a thing?
We do.
It's like they're denying their mental health. Like, it's mental illness. There it is. That's what I'm trying to say. It's their mental illness. It's the reality is you're not mentally healthy.
Because when you hear the thing of mental illness, when you hear a therapist, when you hear,
I know what you're gonna say,
things like that, the first thing that somebody says is, "I'm not crazy."
Yep.
I ain't gonna talk to nobody.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm not crazy. Nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing they think about is that you're calling them crazy.
Man, that's so true. I can't tell you how many clients working with foster kids. I cannot tell you how many of them every time, because I'm not one. I don't push towards medication, but my thing is, me as a woman of God, my medication is studying and prayer and you know what I'm saying, talking to the Lord, getting my clarity. that's my form of medication. But so my thing is, if you can't get to Jesus, you better take the meds.
Yeah.
If you can't believe Jesus,
Yes.
you better take your meds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really push it, but if I have to, if that's what they say is going to help, then you might want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how many of those kids, I've even heard it from some adults.
Oh yeah.
And that's what they chant. That's their anthem.
Ain't nothing
I'm
wrong
not
with
crazy.
me.
Ain't nothing wrong with
Ain't
me.
nothing wrong with me.
And so but I think that I do see that celebrities, people who are in public's eye, they're trying to change that narrative
because they're starting to come out and speak about their mental illness.
Yeah.
They're starting to come out.
Normalizing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
People that we look up to,
Mm-hmm.
they're, from the kids, they look up to the rappers and whoever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
The actors, but they're starting to come out and talk about their trauma,
mm-hmm.
talk about their mental illness,
Yeah.
They're starting to come out and talk about, their anxiety. And, we sit back and be like, man.
Yeah, if they can do it.
So they be having panic attacks.
Oh, right, because these are people who you think like, well, they don't have. They
rich.
They got it all.
They all right. They all good. I need to be in their shoes.
Yeah.
But you just don't know the shoes that they're in.
Ooh, man. They either don't fit or too tight. Ooh, man. And and with the celebrities, one in particular, I don't know the name. I'm not going to quote the name of her foundation, Taraji P. Henson.
Yes.
I so admire her.
Yeah.
I do know her foundation is named after her dad. But Taraji, I believe, is one. She has a strong stance with mental illness.
Yeah.
And she promotes mental health and tending to your mental health. And I love her movement. Yeah. I love when an actress or celebrity period takes a platform and they take a stance. I feel like all of us, every human being should have a stance on something. Mm-hmm. Don't just float through life just whatever, whatever happened today or tomorrow, it is what it is, but stand for something. And I just so appreciate how she stands for mental illness and she promotes mental health. Get the help that you need. But yeah, that's such a common thing. And so like, me personally, and I say this on the last episodes and the prior episodes, how the podcast started, I've never been sexually abused, but I'm surrounded by so many victims y'all will hear me say this on other episodes, from my mom to my children. And I notice everybody responded the same way. And I'm just not understanding, like, if something was done wrong to you, why didn't you say something? And for me, someone who's never been sexually abused, not understanding the fear, the guilt, the shame, you know what I'm saying? And all of that equals silence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which, as we said, I think we talked about this in some side conversations, which that silence can sometimes promote that it's okay. You know what I mean? In our silence. It's okay what you did, or it didn't really happen. Mm-hmm. No, not realizing that it did happen because it's stuck in your subconscious. Mm-hmm. And it's dictating your view of life. I wrote about that in my book. I did, but it wasn't specifically about sexual abuse. It was about trauma, period. Okay. You know what I mean? And the results, some of the things, some characteristics that trauma can produce if we're not careful. Like I talk a lot about that. And my trauma is very different. My trauma is not in the form of sexual abuse or whatever, but trauma is trauma. You know what I'm saying? And one of my favorite coping skills for me is cooking. It's funny, I can cook and not even eat it, but I will eat it because I'll be hungry. But my favorite therapeutic recipe and that's one of my coping mechanisms. Prayer, studying, that comes first. Journaling, that's how my book came about. That comes first. But cooking, I love cooking. And my favorite therapeutic recipe is my Alfredo sauce from scratch that I still owe you a jar. Yeah. I'm gonna get you your jar. Mm-hmm. I promise. And that face, you just scared me. Mm-hmm. I felt the something in my soul. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get you your jar. Uh-huh. But I make and I'm not boasting in myself. I'm gonna go and keep rubbing that in. You'll see. Mm. You know what's about? I'm getting the ingredients tomorrow. Okay. I got you. Okay. I got you. God, you really scare me right now. Let's move on.
I'll see you Sunday.
Right. You heard me. Let's move on. This is getting a little scary here.
Sunday.
But no, seriously, it's so therapeutic for me, and it's so crazy. I had a tough day, even dealing with some stuff, and I had a really tough day, and I was about to make I was about to make that recipe. I was about to make some Alfredo sauce, but I didn't feel like going to the store. So I was like, okay, I'll do it this weekend.
You wouldn't go to the
store. I got you though, because they that wait on the Lord, He shall renew thy strength. Okay, yes, He will. Yes, girl, He gonna mount you up when you get that sauce, girl. He gonna give you wings like an eagle. He got you. I got you. But either way, so so that's the purpose of this podcast. The podcast is I want to continue. I feel like I've been called to call out and to I don't want to say expose, but encourage more people to come forward, find your sense of healing, find the necessary support that you need, because one of the resources that we use for any viewer, anybody who may need support, they don't have the support in their community, in their family. I always encourage you to please, if you or anyone who have experienced being sexually abused, or maybe they're still being abused and they confided in you and they just don't know where to go from here and they're afraid to even take it any further, I will encourage you to have them to contact, or if it's you, contact the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4673, or you can visit their website at rain.org, and that's RAINN.org. And connect with a sponsor or a supporter and get the help that you need, because it's just not beneficial to suffer in silence. So one of the things you'll find on their website, which it always saddens my heart, and I hope that having this conversation will combat against that statistic, which is every 68 seconds, somebody in America, someone in the world is sexually abused. And the saddest thing is every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. Can you imagine? Which is why you can literally see the decline of America.
Yeah.
You can see a decline of, what is it? Intellectual decline, a social decline, a civil decline. I can see it. I've started seeing it years ago. And I just really believe it's from a lot of untreated trauma. And it's just festering. It's festering and it's getting worse. So we encourage this platform is to encourage anyone out there. If it's somebody please get the help that you need. And if you are interested in coming on our platform to share your story, for the support, contact us. Our email will be, you can find our email in the bio. Excuse me, I'm stumbling. You can find our email in the bio, and it'll also be displayed on the bottom of the screen. But reach out to us. We consider all of our guests as overcomers, and you get this nice little fancy t-shirt my cousin is wearing that declares that she is an overcomer. So we don't care where you're located. We want to go all across the globe. If anyone in the world, if you're interested in sharing your story, come on our platform and share. Get yourself free. When you tell your story, you're helping yourself, and at the same time, you're helping someone else. So I'm hoping that you guys enjoy my dear cousin's testimony today. We gonna get into it, because I just think that you just got so much in you. I truly believe it is just gonna come out right in the very presence of the people. So let's just start. I just want to start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Shehora Fleming-Morris. I work at Sojourner Family Peace Center. I am a restraining order advocate. I do work with clients, domestic abuse. I work with clients, juvenile harassment. I work with clients, child abuse, sexual assault clients. So I do work with a lot of clients that's been sexual. Sexual assault. So from all ages, 2, 1.
Oh God.
It doesn't 5.
How did
the age really doesn't matter.
Do you take your work home?
I try not to.
Good. But how hard is that? Yeah, I can imagine.
But it's not easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I get off, we are supposed to turn our cell phones off. But sometimes when I get off, I'm still talking to a client. So I'm walking out the door
Wow.
still on the phone talking to a client.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And them conversations, they can last really long, especially if they need somebody to talk to. So
yeah,
I'm just that ear.
Yeah.
That ear.
That's so therapeutic in itself.
Yeah.
Tell us more. Anything else you want us to know about you?
I'm married. I've been married for it'll be 20 years, September 25th.
Ooh.
Yes, 20 years.
20 years.
20
girl.
years.
Come through.
20 years.
Teach us something.
20 years. 20 years.
Right.
I have 2 girls, 24, and my 19-year-old is about to be 20.
Nice.
My girls, I love them. Those are my babies. They get on my nerves, but I love them.
Yep.
My baby girl goes to TSU. My oldest, she went to UW Oshkosh, and she now is at MATC.
Nice.
So yes.
Nice. Awesome. Girl, 20 years. Talk about this 20-year marriage, honey. Let's get into that 20-year marriage.
It takes the Lord.
It takes the Lord.
The Lord.
The emphasis. I see the emphasis on the Lord.
The Lord.
Yes, yeah.
It takes the Lord.
Yeah.
It's marriage is it's another I don't want to call it a job. I don't want to call it that.
Okay.
But it is another, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I will say marriage is not for everybody.
Yeah.
But marriage it can be a beautiful thing.
I think that's a profound statement to say marriage is not for everybody, because I don't think it's for me. I used to want to be married so bad, especially too, in our family. One of the legacies that I observe that this family gracefully carries is marriage. I mean, even though they're hard and they're not the prettiest,
Right.
They're not all polished, fancy, but I would say the majority has managed to accomplish that milestone, if you want to call it that, for the lack of a better word.
Yes.
And so I think seeing that, that's the only reason why I had the desire to marry, because it seemed like it was supposed to be like, Madea and Daddy down south. Yeah. Again, it was hard. I'm sure the marriage wasn't perfect,
no,
but they were married.
Right.
They had a union. And then you see most of our aunts and our parents. My mama wasn't too consistent, but we saw her prioritizing marriage, right? And then, of course, your parents. How long your parents been married?
53 years.
My God of Zion. That's amazing.
53 years.
So with that, I truly believe that is one of the legacies in the family. And so, yeah, I wanted it at one point. I'm telling you, I pouted, cried to God. Wait, why can't I be, I'm serious. Like, why can't I be married? And, I really want to be married. I really want, and then even then, during the times I desired it, I used to ask myself, well, why do I want, oh my God, it's like a Tyler Perry movie. No, why do I want to get married? Why did I get married? Like, why do I want to get married? And I asked myself then, I was honest, and I was like, really just for financial reasons, just the benefit of having 2 incomes in the house, something else to fall back on, literally. And then there was a season where it's like, the touch, the emotional touch would be nice. The Bible says 2 is better than 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, woe unto him that's by himself, who gonna keep that one warm in the bed. You know what I'm saying? Now that's an Ecclesiastes. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. It's in the word. It's in the word. So even when I read that in the scripture, I was like, you said it, so why can't I get a husband? Who gonna keep me warm at night? So yeah. So yeah, I had all those questions. In different seasons, I asked, why do I want to be married? And those are the reasons. And then of course, the older I get and the longer I'm single, I'm like, please help me out. I don't think there's one that's compatible, unless I ain't saying I've been all over the world to determine that.
No, you haven't.
But where I am here, no, I don't want no, honey. I just be looking like, oh, I do not want that. But Paul said in I can't remember which one of the letters. I feel like it was in the Corinthian letters, the letters to the Corinthian church. He said, with marriage comes trouble. Don't quote me on that Corinthians though. It's in one of his letters. he said with marriage comes trouble. So with that being said, I'm like, I mean, life comes trouble. You know what I mean? It's almost like choose your battle. You know what I mean? Whichever battle you want. And so for me, the me now, no, I don't desire marriage. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even think I know how to date. I've been single for so long. I don't know how to date. And I'm not talking about how to conduct myself. Right. I'm just talking about the pace. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, I'm just clueless because I know God has had me in my singleness. He's been teaching me to lose control. And I have done a great sense of losing control. But as a single woman, I can't lose utter control because it's so much that I'm responsible for. But, you know, I know how to give things to him and allow him to lead. That's the control that I lose. Right. But for the most part, I'm the HNIC in this joint, and I don't know how to get out. You understand?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm like, I don't know how to give that up. Yes. So, but yeah, so I admire when I hear like some, you know, you my age, you're a year younger, and you've been in marriage for so long. That is so commendable, and I can't even say. I don't even know what that feels like. I don't even know what that's like.
I mean, it don't get me wrong. I mean, like the 20 years, you know, the enemy is busy, really busy.
Always.
But I mean, but marriage, you have to fight for it.
Yeah.
You have to fight for it. And it takes two. And when you have that two that's willing to fight for their marriage, then you have a war.
Oh, that's good. The blueprint. What do you call it? The war. The blueprint to the war is complete, huh? Yes. You can go to battle.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, that's good.
You can go to battle.
And you know, I'm a warrior. You know, I don't mind the worrying piece. It's just one of them things. I'm gonna choose my battle. I'm gonna stay off that field.
You know what?
I'm gonna go on another field with some different landmines. I don't want. I don't want to.
I'm gonna go over there.
Go to the other side.
I'm gonna go over there. Y'all gonna stay over here.
But you know, but believe it or not, according to the Bible, some people are called to singleness. You know, in the Bible, I think Jesus talked about three kinds of people when it comes to giving of themselves for ministry. He said there are some who were born eunuchs, and the eunuch is, and I'm probably mispronouncing it, but an eunuch is someone who is castrated and they are unable, you know, they just got rid of their parts. You know, they've given themselves for the work of Christ. So they don't desire marriage like priests. Priests aren't, I think the Catholic Church may have changed it where the priests are able to marry now.
Okay.
Because they indulging on the babies.
Right.
So it's like, y'all gonna take a wife. Take a wife. Grab one. Leave them kids alone and take a wife. Right. Take one. Hurry up. Leave them babies alone, right? That's right. We making light of it. We are making light of it, but I do believe, but priests are like eunuchs in the Bible. And so Jesus says some are born eunuchs, meaning that they were born without, they were born castrated. And then there are some who actually get themselves castrated for the work of Christ. And he said, and then there are some who chooses not to partake. It's almost like, I can't remember. I feel like it's just two. Some are born and then some choose to be that way. And that's an individual who is called to singleness, right? Okay. You're called to walk alone. And I really do believe that I am that. So yeah, you know, I really truly believe that I am called to singleness, and I'm okay with that because I'm to the point now. If I get married, I get married. If I don't, I don't. But I'm definitely not in a place where I'm like, I just really have to find a husband, or I want a husband to find me and I got to present myself. I'm good.
I thought I was called to singleness too.
Aw.
Until he told mama at the age of 16, I'm going to marry her. I said, no, you're not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, you're not.
So special though.
No, you're not. And we married.
Right. He got his girl. That's what's so amazing. He got his 16. He knew he was going to marry you.
Yes. He sat on the bed. And
yeah. So I mean, he loved him. He loved him some you. 16, and he knew who you were at that. How old was he? How far apart are you guys?
I don't know, because when I first met Brandon at church, I told a story about my age. I told him I was 8.
Wait a minute, what?
I told him I was 8.
How old were you?
I wasn't 8. I was a little younger.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. I told Brendan I was 8.
He been crushing that long?
So when he used to call the house, he used to sound like a little girl.
Oh, Lord. And
I was on the punishment at this particular time.
Right.
Mama said, she can't talk on the phone. Who is this? Mama said, you a boy or a girl?
Are you kidding me?
He said, a boy. Mama said, oh, no. And where you know her from? And Shank in the background. Just, you already know. Right. He in the background just talking. And Mama said, where you know her from? Church. Mama said, well, Sunday morning, you come and find me. Sunday morning. And Sunday morning,
he did.
He found my mama.
So how old was he?
I think he was 45. 40, I think 49.
So yeah, 4 years apart. Dang. So he was like 10, pursuing a 6. That's cute. That's so cute. Are you kidding? I didn't know it was that long, boo. Mm-hmm. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I thought y'all connected. I thought he just became head over heels in love with you when y'all were teenagers, but I did not know it started that young.
We was young. Yeah.
That is so amazing.
We were young.
Your story is amazing.
We were young.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always loved how the love that he reciprocated to you. I always loved that. His attachment, like you just brought so much joy to him. And I saw that. I did. When he was, the boy crush was real. He was so crushing. His crush for you was so big, and I don't know.
Remember the wedding? His guys talked about it.
Yeah.
When I used to sing in a choir, they used to always say we couldn't understand why we was going to the gospel side when all the girls was on the other side.
Right.
And I said, I'm sitting there like, oh, you coming on the gospel side, huh? Oh, okay, come to see me sing in the choir. You ain't slick. He's sitting there like, y'all talking too much, man. So everybody pass the mic. That's all they said. I'm like, yeah. Slick.
So special. How do y'all celebrate your anniversaries?
We used to. It was a competition thing with us.
Wow, that's sweet.
So, like 1 year, he'll do something, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I got you the next year.
Oh, that's so hot. I love that.
The next year, then I'll do something. But now it's to the point that he just takes over.
Wow. He's just that kind of guy.
He just takes over.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's so special. Well, first of all, let me pause for a minute, honey, because let's get into this hair. Like the purple rain is on point. You done took over the whole video with the hair alone. Like, girl, your hair is on point. Put some comments, some purple hearts in the comments. Shout her hair out for me because she killing it with this hair. I don't know why I'm just not saying something, but you killing it right now with this hair. That hair is gorgeous. It's always been gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yes, favorite. You rocking it. All right, Miss Lady. So let me ask you, what inspired you to speak up today and share your story?
I've been silent for so long.
Yeah.
I've been living in silence for a really long time. I've been living in silence for 45 years now. 45 years. Yeah, 45 years.
Yeah.
I'm living in silence. In anger.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you that big question, which is, what happened to you?
My abuser, my parents used to work first shift together. So when my mom used to drop me off at the abuser's home, for my babysitter to actually watch me, my babysitter would never be up. They will always be asleep. So the abuser will always come downstairs and open the door.
Okay.
We will always go upstairs. We will go in front of the refrigerator where the abuser used to take me, and that's where things would happen.
And how long did it go on?
I think it went on for maybe like a year or two.
Really?
Yes.
Did you tell anybody?
No.
Really?
You
was only 5.
I was 5. So
he was only 5. And that's, I think we had this conversation probably this episode 2. Can't remember which episode 2. But and I think it was episode 2, the one we did. I think it was just me and Ari, and that was what it was, like a petition we was kind of putting out there. But it was more than anything, it was a question like, how do we get a child to speak up, like right now through this platform. And I know right now this channel is not set up as child friendly because I want to be able to see comments or whatever. But if kids know how to work the internet, they know how to work YouTube, right. They know how to get around it. And if this stumbles in the right child's hand, how do what can be said to a 5-year-old today? And that's probably a question. I'm probably jumping ahead of things, but that was a question like, man, like you were 5 and you didn't have the power or the guts to actually speak up.
No, I didn't.
Knowing right what was happening to you, you knew it was wrong,
yes,
right?
I did.
Yeah,
yes.
You knew it was wrong. Were you afraid?
I was afraid. Very afraid.
Yeah.
I used to cry, and I could not wait until Friday came.
Wow.
Because I knew Saturday I didn't have to go.
Wow.
But when Sunday came, it's like Sunday went by so fast.
You got to prepare for that week.
And it's Monday again. And then here's Monday.
Exactly.
So, but I was very, very afraid. 5 years old. I'm not understanding, but I know that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Then you question, why? So.
Exactly. That's that big thing too. Why? Yeah. Why me? Why did this happen to me? And it's just such an evil act. And one of the things I always say is, sexual abuse is such a secret sin. It's done so quietly, so cunningly. And again, the goal is to get people to speak up more, because I feel like the more we talk about it openly, then it'll be frowned upon, or those that maybe struggle with, developing an attraction for a child, maybe having the conversation openly will redirect, the thinking, the behaviors, or whatever it is that's happening internally. Hopefully it'll redirect it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like anything that's exposed, anything that's talked about openly, and it's not popular, people are not going to run to the unpopular.
No.
You know what I mean? So I feel like if we talk about it, the more we talk about it, we make it an unpopular thing. And it hopefully, it just, I say, I pray that this channel works a miracle and stop it completely. But evil is evil. Evil is lurking. The devil is alive.
Right.
And he is lurking, ruling in the air. And we just got to be careful with protecting our kids and giving them the signs and giving them their voice. Do you think you had a voice? Is that maybe why you didn't speak up? Did you have a voice then?
At the age of 5, to be honest, I don't think I did.
Think about the average 5-year-olds today. Them kids got voices. They telling
it. Yeah, this is 2000 and
2000 and crazy. Yeah,
they telling a little too much.
They telling it all. And and in our generation, we were taught to be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
So it was hard for us to speak up in a lot of things. We didn't have the freedom to speak up.
Yeah, stay out of grown folks' business.
Stay out of grown folks' business. Oh no, girl, what you mistreating me for? Remember that? Don't mistreat me. I'm like, I ain't even touch you. I'm just looking at you.
And stop looking in my mouth.
Right. Yes.
When they used to be in that kitchen. Stop looking in my mouth.
Exactly.
Go in there and play. Go and play.
Yeah, because they know they're saying something they ain't got no business saying. They want to read them lips. Like, we want that skillful. Shoot. Right. Just looking. So, and so what it how have you, so you spoke up, you're speaking up today because you're tired of the silence, and so you're ready to be liberated and free from your past, from past trauma. How have you coped in life since the abuse stopped, or how has it affected you? And that's one thing I forgot to mention to y'all. I think I did, maybe I did. I did. You're here to talk about how being sexually abused affected you. So what have you coped with? What have you used, or are you coping? And how has it affected you in life?
Have I coped? No. I haven't. Anger, rage, is angry towards men, regardless of who they are. My father, husband, friend, it doesn't matter. You know, it's that anger towards men that I have to this day.
So yeah, I heard that present tense. I heard that. I didn't hear past tense. I heard present
to this
tense.
Day.
Yeah.
It's that anger that's
so it's affected you through anger, through rage.
Yes.
Would you say that yeah, I heard you use your husband as one of those male titles. Did would you say that because of what happened to you is maybe the reason why it was hard for you to really connect, or was it ever hard for you to connect with your husband at times?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. Definitely, yes.
And you still managed to conquer that mountain.
Yes.
Like that's amazing though.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's amazing. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's a form of coping. Right? Now, again, we acknowledge and we reference all of our guests as an overcomer. When you overcome something, the Bible says that He will give us the ability to tread upon serpents and scorpions to defeat or to overcome the devil. Mm-hmm. And when you overcome the devil, you have defeated him. You have suppressed and stopped whatever antics, retaliation tactics that he's developed. You've defeated him, right? So we want you to walk in that. I want you to walk in that ability to overcome. So you're defeating the past trauma. You're defeating the effects. But survival means, and there's nothing wrong with being a survivor, like because you've made it through it, but you have not fully overcome the results of what happened to you, right? Mm-hmm. So let's look at it from a physical perspective. If you're hurt, if you were injured, and maybe your injury, or you were in an accident and it caused a major injury, and you got a limp. Well, now you got to survive with this limp. Right. You still got the limp, right? So when you look at it from a spiritual perspective, as an overcomer, we don't want you limping no more. When you overcome something, you don't have a limp. And this is the spiritual, not the physical, but you don't have that limp anymore because you've actually overcame and defeated your past trauma and the past things that you've experienced. So I would actually have to say, on the outside looking in, being married for so long, it does seem like that was a coping mechanism, right? But for you to, you have to identify that in your own self. But like I said, on the outside looking in, the fact that you managed to still marry, it's like, that's your limp. You're still limping, but you still managed to marry the very thing sometimes that you may despise. Okay. You're surviving. You're in survival mode. And you want to come out of survival mode. And but are there ways that you could think of on how to overcome?
I think talking about it a little more. I do have a therapist.
Good.
That I talk to
every 2 weeks. You're not crazy.
No.
Yeah.
No, but I do have a therapist that I talk to every 2 weeks, faithfully. I talk to her a lot. So just talking about it.
It's good.
And not just talking about it, but talking to someone that will actually listen.
That will listen and give you a great deal of perspective, and give you a different perspective so you can go through life better than what you have.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you. I'm proud to hear that you have a therapist as a Black woman.
Yes. She's a Black woman.
Oh, come through. Come through.
She's a Black woman.
I'm going to be honest. I always say, we need more Black professionals in that field.
Yeah.
Because, and even going back to the clients, when it comes to them in therapy, I feel like a lot of them don't connect because in the agency that I'm with and the contractors, the providers that they use, it's predominantly Caucasians. Mm-hmm. And I hear all of them say, that lady don't be talking about nothing. And I always say, you should be the one talking.
Yeah.
You better stretch out on that woman's couch and tell her your business, right? And then they'll help you with a better perspective on whatever it is you're going through in life or whatever. But I hear all of them say that. So I just feel like because of that cultural difference, a lot of other culture therapists have a hard time connecting with our kids.
They'll shut down really quick.
They will shut down. It's almost like, you can't relate to me. You know what I mean? What can you tell me?
And they will honestly ask them that. They will say that.
Yeah.
When I used to work with youth, they will say that.
Yeah.
They'll tell me, Miss Shehora ain't going back there.
Yeah.
She don't know what she's talking about.
Yep, all the time. Just go back. I know. All the time. Give her a chance. Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard.
And there are some of the Caucasian therapists. There are some that are down to earth.
Yeah.
And they do really well with some of the kids that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
I can say, but it's a very small number.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a number. So yes, we need more Black therapists, male, female. We just need more of them, because who can listen and give a better perspective to our own, but except us. You know what I mean? So so yeah, I just hope that even with you being here today and sharing your story, I just hope you find, and I believe that you are finding, some liberation. Yes, honey. Yes. And so what fear, and I know we talked a little bit about fear, but what did you fear the most during the time of the abuse? Speaking up, or was it what was happening to you?
It was speaking up and what was happening to me.
So they both were.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Because of who the abuser was.
Yeah. You don't think you would have been believed? Or was it that reservation that I don't want to cause problems?
I don't want to cause problems.
Really?
Yes.
That is that crazy, distorted form of protection. You protecting the wrong person.
I don't want to cause any problems.
So I mentioned this in episode 1. I had a conversation with someone, and they said that, like, till this day, their mom, of course they grown,
mm-hmm.
But their mom doesn't know that their stepdad, which is her husband, molested them, and they never said why, but in my head I'm listening, and the person said, "Oh no, my mom doesn't know, and she's not going to know." And in my head I'm like, you just suffered in silence? Well, I got over it, you think? And when I walked away from that conversation, automatically I thought, you needed the protection, not your mom, right? You're the victim. Mom is not the victim. You're the victim. You say something. And so that's a message even too, to hear that you had that same notion that I don't want to stir up any trouble. What? Stir it up. Because you're not the one that caused the trouble. You just got to finish it.
In my mind, I didn't want to.
And as a 5-year-old,
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
So I was silent.
So you were silent out of fear of not necessarily being believed, but out of fear of causing trouble.
Yeah.
Wow. Whew. The message today is, say something.
Yeah.
Please say something. So let me ask you this. What makes you strong today?
What makes me strong today is now that I have the voice, now being able to actually talk about it, and not hold anything in anymore.
Good.
No, it's no more silence.
Yeah, I love it.
It's no more.
Got a new mantra. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. I think to add to that, I mean, your strength, and I feel like you don't speak well enough about yourself, but it's okay, girl, I got you. The fact that you can stand in the gap, the job that you do, we're going to look at it in the form, me, I'm going to take it spiritual, because that's what I do best. But you are standing in the gap for the broken, and you broken yourself. That makes you strong. Though you're broken, I'm going to stand with these women, these men, these children, however, these boys, and I'm going to stand with them. Number one, I can relate. But number two, I know how it feels not to have, or to feel silent or fear. You can relate on so many levels. And so that, I feel like that's a strength too, that you have, to be able to stand in the gap for other people. Like, you're literally standing in proxy. Like, that's your job. You know what I mean? To have a job and an assignment all in one, that's favor.
Yeah. And he keeps putting me there.
Yeah.
I can apply for everything else. Nope, you going right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just came out of that.
Yes.
No,
that's where he needs you.
It's the position.
Do you ever share, like, when you talk to your clients, just to get on that level of relating? Because, with this generation, the society, the culture overall that we live in, it's just so hard sometimes to connect if you don't have the right approach. Like, so for me, sometimes I do my best to relate. I mean, it could be a far-fetched situation. I'll do my best to be an empath. Like I feel what you're saying. I really feel it. But if I really truly can't relate, that's the most I can say. But if I can relate to a person, I'm okay with like, oh, I've been through that before. Like I've had a similar experience. So have you ever used your story to help somebody else?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So even in that, I'm sure it's in a private conversation.
Yes, it is.
And even in talking about that, you must looked at that just a job and just went home with the same monkey on your back.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you never really took that as an opportunity to use your, like I said, it's a job and an assignment. So it's almost like you missed the opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
So you just showed them the monkey, like, yep, this Joker been riding with me for this long.
Yeah.
I know that monkey. I got this. And then you just come on, get up.
Yeah.
Just take them on home with you.
Because they feel like, it's just them. And, some of them are very ashamed or very embarrassed.
Yeah.
Embarrassed. So it's just so easy for me to just come off and just tell them my story.
Yeah.
And they just be like, wow.
And you never allowed that, when you telling them, you never allowed your story to liberate yourself. No. You just told it for the job.
Yes.
Satisfy the client. And then again, put the monkey back on your back and then head home. That is something. I am so glad that you're in a place today where you're ready to speak up. And I guarantee you the next time you tell your story, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. Because now you got a power behind it. Yeah, you got power behind it, honey. You believe it. So that's amazing, though. Like, yeah, you are I think you're a powerful vessel. That's all. I've always felt that about you.
Thank you.
You built your own shell and then laid in it, and then crawled in it. Yeah, yeah. You try though. But the more, and this is, again, I'm in the spiritual realm. Stay with me. The more you deny the call that is on your life, the more depressed you become. Yeah. The more you deny the call that is upon your life, the more depressed you become. Because through your calling is where you find fulfillment. Through your purpose is where you find fulfillment. You should find fulfillment. And it's hard. Truly, it's hard. Because look at Jesus. Jesus had the heaviest burden that he carried. His cross is heavier than all of ours put together. Right? So it's not a perfect position to be in, but I can speak for myself. I avoided my calling for years because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't feel like it was going to be believed or received or whatever. And so I avoided it. And I was always a shy person anyway, seemingly, not naturally. I feel like by default I was a very shy person, but my nature, I'm a very outspoken person. I'm not shy. I just learned to be shy. Yeah, I can play shy. So, just something to keep in the back of your head. Walk in the call that He's placed on your life, because it'll rid away a lot of those. It'll get that monkey off your back, number one, and it'll rid away a lot of those unwarranted emotions and disparity that you may feel. Yeah, with the call. I mean, and even with the call, sometimes you feel this disparity because it's that responsibility to do. That's where the disparity comes. Like, oh Lord, but if you give God a yes, you're gonna be fine. If you say yes to the call, you're gonna be just fine. Me being here today with this platform I believe God called me. It was a whole conversation. I didn't have it. This is something I said I would never do, and I'm here today. You know what I mean? So, and I enjoy it. I actually love it. Right? And this is something I said I would never do. I was eager for this conversation. I'm always eager when it's time to record, because these are pre-recorded episodes. I'm always eager to have the conversation and to do what God called me to do. So you find fulfillment in it. So I got one last question, but it's a 3-part. I want to know, what do you think is important for people to know about anyone who's been sexually abused? And what's important for the victim to know? And what would you say to someone who is still being abused? So what's important to someone like myself who's never been sexually abused? What's important for someone like me to know?
To listen to them. Don't dismiss them.
It's a big one.
Don't make them feel like you don't believe them.
Yeah.
Because once they feel that you don't believe them, you shut them down.
It's true. That's good.
You shut them down completely.
Yeah.
And they will never, that's where that anger come out.
More anger on
because
top
they
of
feel
what?
like they can't talk to anyone, especially if they don't know to just go to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
Just that one person that can shut them down and just ruin everything.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. And what's important for the victims to know?
That it's okay to speak out, and it's okay to go to that next person if that first person you talk to doesn't hear you. It's okay to go to the next person.
That's my thing.
If that person don't hear you, it's okay to go to the other person.
Keep telling it to somebody
until somebody is willing to listen.
Too tied. Those two
hear
tied.
you. Yeah.
That's amazing. And for someone who may still be getting sexually abused, what would you say to them? I feel like you answered it, but I want you to say it anyway.
That it's okay to talk about it.
Say something. They still been abused. Tell.
It's okay to tell. And don't think it's your fault.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Don't think it's your fault, because sometimes you can hold it in for so long or for so many years that it gets to the point that you just think it's my fault because I never said anything.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
And I got a curveball, and I think I probably rushed this response because we had a pre-meeting before this. Was it only one time that you were violated?
No.
There were other times?
Yes.
Okay.
Twice. 2 times.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that.
The other time was I think I was 12, 13 years old. And the abuser we were both members of the same church. That was another time. He did it twice. The third time I was a teenager at this time. It was a friend of the family who actually did it to me, and who is actually in jail right now as we speak, from actually doing things to his girlfriend's daughter.
Oh, okay. So
he's been in jail for a very long time now.
Good. That's amazing. He's in jail. He's getting justice, and even though it's on somebody else, that's your justice too.
Yeah.
So what about, and so the scenario with the church member, what happened with that?
Nothing actually. We told the leader of the church. I did tell my mom, who actually called the leader of the church out to the home, and it was put upon me of what I wanted to do.
Oh God! Instead of doing what was right,
it was asked upon me what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So they gave you the responsibility to be the victim and the adult.
Yes.
Huh. That's interesting. You were how old?
I was 12.
Yeah.
11, 12.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. 11, and so what did you decide?
I didn't want to break up the home.
Once again.
I didn't want to break up his marriage. I didn't want all eyes to be on me when I go to church. I just didn't want that.
Yeah.
So I just didn't. I did not. Yeah, nothing happened.
But the good thing is with that one is you did tell your mom and dad.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they called the leader.
Yes.
But so you got some support, just not a full amount of support with that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all of, those scenarios, those 3 incidents, that's what's been kind of dictating your life.
Yes.
You're trying. Yeah, that's.
It has.
And today it's over because you were so liberated sharing your story today. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you sharing your story and being brave and bold to come on and talk about it, and then to leave a message for somebody who may be like you to say, speak up, say something, no more suffering in silence. That's my thing. No more suffering in silence. We speak up because there is power in your words and power in your voice, and you find liberty.
Yeah.
You find your liberty. You find your peace. So, you know what? I'm proud, and your mother support you today to be here. I know you talk a little bit about that.
She did. I talked to my mom about it, and I did let her know that I was coming here.
Yeah.
To talk about things, and my mother actually apologized to me.
Oh, that's deep.
My mother actually, yeah.
That's next level.
She apologized to me for taking away my childhood and not taking charge as she should have,
Amazing.
As a mother. So, and that meant the world.
The world. And this was just recently.
This was last week.
That is, that's big in our family. That's big.
This was last week.
To apologize, to encourage you, and not think so much of herself, but to actually set herself aside for that moment to say, I apologize. Acknowledgement, accountability, transparency, authenticity. That's deep.
She did. We was in the car and she did.
Yeah.
She looked at me.
I know that was an emotional moment.
And she said, I'm sorry.
Dang, that's amazing.
She did. She said, I'm sorry.
And those words can go so far. Those are healing words. If that didn't heal your soul, if those words didn't heal your soul.
And I just told her, I said, everybody think this and they, used to think that of me, but they didn't know. And she said, yeah. She said they didn't.
And I was one of them. I just thought you just had everything. I did. I thought you was the the creme de la creme. Okay. Mm-mm. Yeah, I did. You very, very well kept, very well put together. Never suspected anything like this. Never. I mean, one of the scenarios I knew a little something about, not in full detail, but no, and I admired you at times. Like, you were always well kept, as you are today. You're always well kept. So yeah, I wouldn't suspect it. Wouldn't suspect it at all.
It was that mask that I wore.
Yeah, I did. I mean, the older I got and the more spiritual I got, yes, I did see your mask. But the interesting thing with that, I never tried to go around the mask. I never tried to challenge you. I think I always, me, when we came together, I would, pray with you.
Yeah.
And unless God showed me something, then I'll tell you what I saw. And then the rest is on you. That's your responsibility. But I never really challenged that mask. Unlike my co-host, Ari, when I first met her, connected with her, I told her, you wear a mask. And I don't deal with people that wear masks. I need to take the mask off your face.
Yeah.
It was like blatantly outright, like, honey, you got mask on. If we gonna work together, I need to see your true authentic self.
Yeah, I had a couple of them.
Yeah.
I had a couple.
Wow. And again, that was your survival mode.
Yeah.
Survival mode. You put on the mask. It's like saving face.
Yeah.
Just for presence or approval. You know what I mean? And I'm so glad you are the woman you are today. Your test made a testimony.
Thank you.
And I'm proud that you had come this far and came on this platform and shared your story. And girl, the best is yet to come.
Yes.
As an overcomer. Yes. You gonna walk in that shit. Thank you so much, my dear cousin, for coming on, sharing your story of liberation. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, but thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. And I think we talked about this, y'all might see her in the future. We might have to recruit her as an interim host. Yes, I said it. So she might be one of the faces of this platform. And so I appreciate you today. And so that's it. I hope that my dear cousin Shehora Fleming-Morris, I hope her story inspired you. I hope that you got something out of it. She said something that struck your spirit and you are ready to speak up. You are ready to get the help, get the support that you need, healing, justice, whatever. And so I'm going to make that clarion call, as I always do. If you or someone you know has experienced or have experienced sexual abuse, please connect them to the National, or you yourself connect yourself to National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4673. or go to their website, and you can also connect with someone there at www.rain.org. And remember, we are here combating against the statistic that every 9 or 68 seconds, someone in America is sexually abused, and every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. We are here to overturn that statistic by encouraging people, children, men, women, everywhere, to speak up. Y'all heard Shehora say, speak up, say something. It is okay to speak up. It is okay to tell somebody. If it's still happening, tell someone. If your family, friends, your community won't listen, contact rain.org. I'm sure someone there will listen to you and get you the help that you need. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please follow us on Instagram. We'll have our ads in the bio. If you want to come on our platform share your story, you can reach out to us at victimtovictorchannel@gmail.com. And you'll see us here every other Thursday, where we're going to have someone else every time to come on and to share their amazing testimony on how they overcame being sexually abused. Before I let you go, do me a favor, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification, share this video with as many people. We want to hear your feedback. Put some comments give us some comments. Don't forget, give me some purple hearts. Shout out her hair for me. I want to see some purple hearts in the comments. But we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about her story? Please commend her. Tell her you're proud of her, that she came this far, that she reached this point of her journey. And so thank you for joining us today. Until next time, the Victim to Victor podcast. We will see you on the next following Thursday, or the Thursday after the following Thursday. So next time, bye.